morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Albob. I am your sensei, your griot, to tell you a story, and it's nippy, and weather's gonna get nippier, and it's cold. But thought you might like to listen to this. So
I'm not saying, Al, that smart people can't be duped. I don't know why you fucking keep trying to make that point. I know that.
Okay, so we both agree smart people.
The more you are, the less likely you are to be duped.
Okay, so we're both saying that.
And then someone in Putin's place, when he's got the whole world barking down his throat, he has a great interest in not being duped.
Okay.
But he's a very smart guy with a sense of humor who's got the balls to go out and stand in front of a camera for 4 hours.
Okay, so all I can say is the next 5 months will prove that one way or the other, and that
not necessarily. I mean, we're not going to probably see it. I don't think. I haven't heard anybody else say that Putin was giving an off ramp to the Americans, Europeans, and Ukrainians by withdrawing from Krishan. I haven't heard anybody else say that.
Well, it's like the first, when there's the off ramp, and then they have that little part of the highway that gets wider to go on the off ramp, right? That by pulling over the river and pulling out of that city, we're at that place where that part of the highway is still there, but it's opening up to go to it. It's not the off ramp yet, and the off ramp would be if and because it takes two to tango. So you can't just have one person trying to give an off ramp. Both people have to want to go on the off ramp, right? So
no, that's not true. He's won a propaganda victory. He showed that he's not going for. It's basically a propaganda victory.
Losing that city,
given his success, given celebration to Ukraine,
right,
letting the Americans carry on about how he was defeated.
Right.
So he's given that away,
right,
for a reason. And the reason I'm speculating on is because there is something going on behind the scenes.
Yes.
That they have actually recognized that there cannot be a winner-take-all.
Right.
And then he's throwing the crumbs out and saying, look, stand down, hold tight, retrench, don't get excited, be thinking about negotiations. We're not going to do anything till the end of the year.
Right, okay. So, is he still shooting, Iranian drones at
I don't know.
I think he still is.
How's that coming in?
Well, because
I didn't say they're not fighting somewhere.
So how that's fighting is if he really does want to have negotiations, right?
No, bullshit. Bullshit. This is just bullshit. If he really meant it, he would do what I think he should do.
Okay.
No, he did it because he gained in the public. That's my speculation. Is that he did it for many reasons. One, defensive, PR.
Well, that's a guy who says he knows what he's thinking or doing or whatever. But that's not really what's going on. We're in a situation where we're all in pain because it's not a war, it's not starvation, it's not global warming, it's the lack of unconditional love. The fact that everyone is going, well, I love you if you do what I tell you to do. And that's not how this is going to work out. We're at a point of reflection. We're at a point of complexion, meaning every so often we get a shot at changing
the same thing that we do over and over and over. The tomorrow in Hamlet, Shakespeare's Hamlet. End of the play, Hamlet is, listened to his, psychosis of his ghost of his father and kills everyone. And he's sitting on the throne and everyone's dead. His best friend's over there. Oh, we won, we won, we won. Hamlet, why are you, you're a dour guy, but you should be happy. We won. What's left? What's wrong? Tomorrow. Tomorrow what? It's the tomorrow and the tomorrow. And that's what we're stuck in, the tomorrow and the tomorrow. Only way you get out of that situation, you look at our friend John, the canary in the coal mine. He's always talking about the same thing over and over again, right? And last year he's talking about God and Jesus. And, God and Jesus is okay, but you got to have God's unconditional love in your heart, meaning love for everyone else, right? All our relations. You have to have Jesus' unconditional forgiveness in your mind. Get rid of that squirrel that's always thinking about somebody getting over on you, That is what it's about. It's unconditional love and unconditional forgiveness. We're not seeing too much of that, right? And people just keep trying to get over. Bigger missile, a bigger gun, more money, whatever. It's not going to work out. It's not going to do it. I'm attempting to go on the block, take the show on the road, take it out of the forest and bring it to the folk. Now, I have this avenue of the YouTube to bring this out to you, and I'm glad to do it. And there's folks like our sister Jane here. And others, right? And again, you can get a hold of me at the dudeawake42 at gmail, dudeawake42 at gmail, right? And if you want to throw something in my PayPal, which I really, really appreciate, and I really appreciate all those who have done that, whatever it is, it's a pleasure to receive it, right? Because it's not just the cash. The cash is, like I keep saying, I live like a millionaire on $400 a month, right? And living in the woods, I can. It's gonna be a little tough without heat. That's one reason why I'm heading to someplace else, right? To this kindness of folks who want to, hear me and to share their life with me, right? Because I'm ready to share mine with you, and I have been for the last 3 years. These last close to 2,000 shows, right? Go look and go to Dreamy Dreamland's home and go look at the videos. And there's YouTube says there's more than 1,500, somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 shows, right? And they're all pretty interesting. They're all very different, There is no the continuity of the shows is love's co-creation. That's the continuity, right? And I'm trying to enable you, the observer, to have that in your heart. The first 2 minutes of the show, I was not in front of the camera. You heard that a person who's basically wants to be right. He's a good person. I've known him a good long time. He wants good things. He wants the righteous outcome for humanity, but he wants to be right. There is no being right. What there is to be love's co-creation. When we create in love, in one love, in co-creation of the we and me, meaning it's not your life is not about you. When people want to be the hero, the star of the show, the A-lister, the zillionaire, president of the United States, all the above, that's really not going to work out for you or the rest of the world, right? Look at all the pinhead politicians. Look at all the world leaders. How they doing with the world? Not too good, right? And we seemingly make you look at what's going on in Ukraine. It seems to be every you know, bad mistake, and the United States, well, the what I call the unipolar transnational corporate fascist oligarchy, not the United States. The United States is just a component part of that. Not England, that's a component part. Not the EU, just a component part. China, just a component part. Russia, just a component part. We have to realize that we are all our relations and that we have to love ourselves and all our relations. And there isn't going to be any end time soon until, the universe blinks out. But until then, no. Right? The wars and rumors of war, right? Pestilence is starvation on a planet that is a planet of abundance. There's no other planet like this. Is the Garden of Eden, and it's hell on earth. So, in every day and every way, take a piece of the earth and make it stronger by doing your best. And whatever you do, you don't have to be anything other than you. You are the decider of you. Decide to be your best. When you do your best, you'll be the example for others who watch you. That's why I do this show. I'm here to do my best to be an example. I'm not perfect, right? I'm just here to be I'm holding the space, I'm here to show you, because I really have a limited warranty. I died in 2014. All my doctors can't believe I'm still alive. I said, I'm alive. And when I'm not alive, I'll be dead. But that's just this body. And this body isn't me per se. It's my avatar. And what is that in Latin? It's like the living God. So, when you look at when the burning bush was talking to Moses wanted to know who he was. Moses said, burning bush did not say, I am who I am. It said, I am a work in progress. And you, pointing to Moses, who was the physical representation of the Hebrew nation in front of him, you are my mirror. You're my reflection. I see what I'm doing by looking at what you are doing. So, God is watching all of us and seeing what he is through our reflection. God gives us this life, right? This avatar to experience. And our gift to God is to live this life in love's co-creation. When we do anything other than that, it's an illusion, right? It doesn't exist. Oh, look. 13 minutes and 33 seconds. I love it when it happens. And so it's a synchronistic moment. And let us pray. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. As it was in the beginning, is now, ever shall be, world without end. Amen. Oh. Forgiveness is your greatest power. Love is your greatest strength. And every day and every way, take that love and make it stronger through co-creation by being your best. Not trying, do. You can do anything. And one of the things that makes humans separate from the rest of all our relations, not separate, but different in a certain way. And that is human beings can work together. Yes, 20, 30 monkeys can work together to steal bananas from tourists, but millions of humans can work together to make this planet better. And we're just allowing ourselves to be hoaxed, conned, you know. I don't know anything. Don't believe a word I say. It's up to you to be the decider of your life, right? I just do my best, and I'm not perfect. So when you go to sleep tonight, close your eyes and visualize that breath, that prana coming into your lungs. See that prana, that life force, right? And see it healing every cell of your body. Feel the grounding of your chi, Mother Earth, and you complete that circuit, and you will be truly love's co-creation. And then go into your Akashic record through the imaginary mirror behind your eyes where you have REM sleep, and investigate who and what you are and what you're doing here and all the connective tissue. I can see myself being born. I can see myself being inseminated by my father into my mother's egg, that egg that I became and grew in my mother. And I can see my mother not wanting to have another child and taking another Manhattan and smoking another cigarette, right? As she tried and did before, causing miscarriages of the other children. And I am not here to judge, and I have to thank my mother because I was born, right? And that toxic wasteland that I can still feel um, gave me perspective on the world that I was coming into. And then I was born. I was born because there was a angel, Dr. Black, who saved me from being strangled by my mother's umbilical cord, right? And was gave the credence that my grandmother should bring me up and not my parents. And so I was saved for 7 years, right? By my grandmother's unconditional love, and that I was the gift. She had my father and other children and a life before I was born, but she was in a position that she could be that unconditional love for me, where my parents couldn't, because my parents were so discombobulated by the fear and angst and PTSD that they experienced their whole life, wanting to be what was told to them to be. And they were the American dream. They succeeded in a materialist sense and in a loving sense also. My parents weren't evil or bad. They had issues just like everyone does. And, and I was lucky that I was spared that initial 7 years. And so when I ended up with my parents at 7, I had a perspective. So when I looked at my parents, I saw them as individual human beings who had issues, but good sides to them. And I tried to bring out their best side. And often, just me being me was a trial and tribulation. So all things are as they should be, you know. And I was with my mother when I was 4. I mean, my grandmother had a house not too far from where my parents lived, right? And when I was in that house, I could, it's just a couple blocks from my parents. So when my grandmother had to do something, she would drop me off with my mother, and I would be stayed with them. So I kind of got inculcated, but not for very long. Not, we never stayed overnight those years. But it was a early spring morning, and it's probably about 10 in the morning, and I was like looking at all the buttercups on the lawn, and they were just I couldn't believe that. My mother brought me out with the laundry, and then she went in and did something, and I was in the laundry basket. I couldn't get out, so I was incarcerated, and I was like playing around in the laundry, and I watched as the sun came up. It started to shine on the backyard lawn, and the buttercups just came up. I mean, they weren't there when I was first placed on the lawn. The sun hadn't risen above um, its nadir point, and it didn't rise above the trees and the houses behind us until I was sitting there in the thing, and I saw the buttercups, and I was just amazed to watch the buttercups come up. And I was, at one with the buttercups. I was feeling the buttercups, and you can feel the buttercups too. But not if you are conditioned to be conditional. Right? Not if you are conditioned to feel separate by being exceptional. Not if you think you're better than anybody else. Because what you are is yourself. And what you are is the decider of your life, not anybody else's, your life. Right? And every day and every way you need to take that peace that comes with that understanding and you make it stronger. 21 minutes and 21 seconds. So I was sitting there, and my mom came out, and she kind of was taking, the sheets out. And as she took them out, I kind of rolled around in the basket and was giggling and laughing. And then she just would throw them up on the on the line, and then take the other one, throw it on the line, right. And she was smoking cigarettes hanging out of her head, and she had big long ash. And every time she bent over, it was like snow on top of me. The ash would come. And I kept looking up at my mother, and she was really tall, and the sun was coming up, outlining the back of her, and I was just, it was like a magical moment, right? And the ants were crawling all over me, right? And I was just talking to them. Hey, how you doing? What are you guys? I had no idea they were ants, right? Good to see you. Look at you. You got all these legs. What are those little things on your head? Antenna? And so, and then all of a sudden, this kind of flash of a reflection. And I turned towards the reflection, and it was this luminescent sheet. And it had come around the corner from the garage. And out of the sheet came this like 6-foot bipedal ant, right? Looked just like that one, but he was standing up, right? And he had, 2 legs that he was standing on, but he had 3 other sets of arms, and he had antennas and big black eyes. He was all black. And, my mother screamed, and I didn't even look, right? I just looked at him, and he was right in my head. And he said, "You are incarcerated." And yes, I was. I was in a laundry basket, right? And it said, "My brethren tell me that you're not like the other mud puppets, that you have a sense of love and gaiety and interest, and you have no seeming fear. I will be your teacher. I have waited a long time for a student like you." And that was Ant. And the 2 most ancient of the totem pole is the turtle, and we're standing on the Turtle Island. That's Earth. It's turtle. And Ant is the she of our Mother Earth. And those two I learned as mentors. My grandmother was my greatest teacher, but they were these deeper mentors, and they would come into my dreams, and my dreams would not just be when I was asleep; they would be like then, right? And I had this long conversation with Aunt, and basically, it was saying all the things I say to you guys. The cadre. I say, you are the decider. You are here to be love's co-creation. You are here to, in every day and every way, take the piece here to make it stronger. That's what Aunt taught me. And my grandmother was the physical example of that. She didn't. She taught me by example. Aunt was more a griot, a storyteller, right? And after we had that long conversation, in my head, all of a sudden, I heard this sobbing. And I looked this way, and there's my mom on her knees, and she was, "Ah, ah." And I looked over, and that reflective sheet was gone, and Aunt was gone. And from that time on, he would come not as physical as that, but, all the time, it would come in a vision or a dream or a insight, you know, and a connection, a realization of my 20, being there, right, and not being someplace else. Like I'm being there with you right now at 26 minutes and 26 seconds. And I am going to say, I just came to wish you a happy Sunday. And I'm always here for you. Get a hold of me at the Dude Awake 42 at Gmail, the Dude Awake 42 at Gmail, Dude Awake 42 at Gmail. I look forward to hearing from you. Janie Pooh, send me, I got your emails, and I sent you a response. So let's hear something a little more deeper. Let's have a email of what do you think of this show. You could, always leave a comment down below. Love that. 2 people left me 2 thumbs up. How about a few more? How about some cash in the old PayPal? Dude Awake 42 at Gmail. How about giving me emails, right? And I hope this winter will not be a really cold one. So far, we had a pretty nice Indian summer. It's really up until yesterday it was nice. I mean, it was like in the 40s. You could tell it was going to get cold. Today, it's like I woke up, it was in the 20s. It kind of snowed, but the snow looked like styrofoam balls, meaning it fell on a surface that was still warm and it didn't melt. That's never a good sign. But all of these things that are occurring are just illusions of the consequence of our materialistic ego of our fear. There's nothing to fear. Ego is just an illusion. The only thing that is real is love's co-creation. So live in love's co-creation. So I look forward to hearing from you. And at 33, I will move on, right? I will leave the channel and I'll see you tomorrow or the next day or the tomorrow or the tomorrow, right? But always keep a song in your heart. Be happy with what you have. Because things can always be worse, and you should always be thankful for what you got. I live out in the woods. I have no heat, or very little heat. That's more than enough. Right? I'm here to serve love's co-creation. That's what I'm here to. Not to worry, not to, want, not to need, because love always has a way. Love always is the only thing that exists. Love is the only thing that is real. Love is why you're here. Love is who you are. And I love you all. And every day in every way, my heart goes out to you. I'm here for you. 30 minutes and 30 seconds, and I say